go over to the Mountain West. A rematch with honestly like one of the most underrated football games of the entire year. UNLV and Boise State, when they played last time, that was a pretty back and forth game. That was Haj Malik Williams early in his tenure there at UNLV. Ashton Genty was held to his lowest season rushing total of the entire year. I, Boise State's -4. This one's in Boise, Idaho, right?
It's in
Right. See,
Boise,
this
Idaho.
is
Correct.
Boise,
Sorry.
Idaho.
Yes.
This line is at 4. I liked UNLV last time, and I was going back and just looking like at our picks, from that game that was early in the season. I was on UNLV, you were on Boise State, and I still like UNLV in this spot. I do. I think UNLV's been playing good football. I know that they had a scare a couple weeks ago against a maybe not great football team. But I just think, okay, I know that Boise State's going to try to scheme up some more stuff for Ashton Genty, but this is also December Ashton Genty. Okay, I know it's going to be a little bit frigid, maybe up in Boise, Idaho. I don't know what the weather's going to be looking like there on Friday night. That maybe plays into Ashton Genty's advantage, but I also think that we are what 250 carries later from not that Ashton Genty has slowed down in terms of his production, but I do think that this is a level of defense that he has not seen in weeks.
Correct. Correct. I will also say, remember, he did get banged up midway through that game. He had, I think, it's like a knee kind of messed up, and then also his arm as well. I think he's healthier now than he was in the middle of that game for sure. But you're right. I mean, he's at what 300 some carries, 312, even more touches in the air. So yeah, it's definitely something worth noting. But it's going to be in the mid 30s. I know Woodyard's good. I know Catalan's good for UNLV. I like Boise State in this. Their opponent adjusted. I talked about this in the previous. Their opponent adjusted offensive efficiency for Boise State. So no matter who they're going against, you take strength of schedule out of it. They are 8th in offensive efficiency in the country. That is really, really good. UNLV is down at 52nd, although I would have thought it would have been higher because I really like the way that they do move the football. But 8th to me is very, very impressive. I know UNLV is the top Mountain West team against the run, but I think at home makes a huge difference. I think Genty is eyeing a Heisman. I still believe it, and I think you do too, that he should still be in the running, and that maybe there should be a conversation about that being had. Obviously, props and respect to Hunter and Gabriel and Cameron, whoever else you think it may be. But if you want to talk about potential way to put your stamp, you talk about 250 yards on Friday night, potential spot where this is potentially a feature game because it is a de facto play-in game with the way things shaked out with Tulane and Army the past couple weeks there in the American. Yeah, I think Genty will have 40 carries. I also think, too, I really like the way Mad Max has been playing. Maddox Madsen has been efficient when called upon. You got Camper there. I think he's been solid. And remember back in the UNLV game, he actually played pretty damn well. He used his legs as well. I think that could be a big factor. But yeah, Genty with 40 carries with nothing to lose, a couple weeks of rest until potential, playoff game. I like Boise State in this spot. Although I do think there's a coaching edge here to UNLV and Barry Odom.
I do too. I do too. And I guess I forgot to mention as well that UNLV Boise State game last time was in Las Vegas, right?
Yes.
So that's a big deal. All right, having that home away flipped there. But I know Haj Malik Williams hasn't been perfect, but you're right about that offensive efficiency stat. I'm very shocked that UNLV's offensive efficiency is as low as it is. Um, I think that they've been able to throw the ball well. I think Ricky White is going to do just absolutely stupid stuff. All right, I think he's going to do stupid stuff. We've seen him block punts all year. We've seen him, have 200-yard receiving games. We've seen him. He has been lights out. He has been lights out. And I believe you took him in our fantasy draft, and that was just an absolutely unbelievable pick by you right there, by the way. But he's a dog. Okay. I think like when you're looking at the superstars in this game, I actually believe there's more superstars on UNLV than there is on Boise State. I don't think that's crazy to say. I do think the offensive line for Boise State is an edge, but I think UNLV's defensive line and front seven in general is pretty dang solid. So I do think that there's still a level of talent that can compete with that offensive line. If you are Boise State, right, and Ashton Genty gets shut down, what's nice though this season is that you've seen Mad Max play really good football throughout the conference slate. You've seen him play really good football. So guys like Austin Bolt, Cam Camper, right? Like I can still trust Boise State through the air. I just like UNLV in this spot. If you're gonna give me the four, I'll take the four, and I guess I might as well take UNLV to win as well. So, uh, but that's where I'm at. But if you're telling me like at a neutral site that this game is basically a pick 'em between these two teams, I would believe that, and that's kind of what this spread is telling us.
Yeah, I do think the two edge defenders there for Boise are pretty dynamic. They're both in the top three there in sack leaders, the Mountain West. In addition to like in terms of tackles for loss, like which would be I think a huge stat in this game because both teams love to stay ahead of the chains and love to run the football, right? And yes, they are explosive and they don't need they can convert third and long, but like tackles for loss here, I think is going to be a key stat or tackles for, two or fewer gains. I wish there was a spot there like defensive wins. I know PFF has a stat that's like, defensive stop, and it's like a stop that happens when it's less than the offense should have happened. However you calibrate that, don't quite know for sure, but I do think that's going to be like the hidden yardage here is like, are you breaking tackles if you're Genty? If you're UNLV, are you winning on first and second down as well? And then what's going to happen here in special teams as well? I think obviously I think UNLV is pretty damn good on special teams, and I trust what they can do. They're not penalized. Like they're just a really really coached team. I I think Boise State rises up though, and I think they get it done. Especially if you get up early at home, I think that crowd will be going nuts. I hope this game gets a ton of spotlight because it deserves it. We have talked Mountain West a lot this year. This will be on Fox, 7 o'clock Central Time, 5 o'clock local, 6 o'clock local time. I think Mountain Time, Boise.
They are Mountain Time, I believe.
6 o'clock local time, still prime time there. Yeah, I think it'll be a fantastic time for the Mountain West, but be able to showcase their conference there on national television and potentially showcase their Heisman Trophy winner to some voters who finally going to watch a full Genty game.
Yeah, I agree. Who they probably haven't watched one in a while. I guess I'm sure there are Heisman voters watching that game last week. Hopefully they're watching. Travis Hunter and Ashton Gent at the same time, who both played out of their minds. By the way, so respect to those guys.